Hello, I'm Liz.
And I'm Marie.
And welcome to this week's edition of Get Real Estate with Liz and Marie, where we provide you with the Phoenix Market Update, weekly Phoenix Market Update. How are you doing today, Marie?
I'm doing well. It was some crazy weather here earlier today in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
There was some storms and some lightning and some thunder. It was actually a little bit scary out there.
All night. We had them all night where I live.
Up in Anthem.
And then a couple times today down here where Marie and I have our office.
Yes. So it was some crazy weather, but it's blue skies now. I think we're back to normal.
It was fun. We get 8 inches of rain a year, and I think we've gotten more than 8 inches this summer alone.
So. Like 15, I feel like. I don't know. That's probably totally wrong, but it's definitely been a lot.
A lot of rain. So I don't like it in the winter, but it makes it fun in the summer because it cools it down.
Yes.
So how's it looking out there in the real estate world, Marie?
It's looking pretty good. So, interestingly enough, the number of active residential real estate listings this week went up again.
But no fret that there's not a market stagnate or something.
No, it's not like it would have to jump by a few thousand before there was anything really significant. But it has been about 6 weeks in a row at least. That it's been slowly increasing. This week, though, it's 187 listings. I mean, that's a decent amount.
Yeah.
So again, this is just active residential listings. So not coming soon, not pending, backup offers, none of that, just 100% active. So we're at 7,476 across Maricopa County.
Yep. Still far below the 22,000. That's a steady market. So that's why it's still definitely a seller's market out there, and will remain so for a while. So we'll get into that in a few minutes.
Yes, don't jump into our predictions
I'm
yet.
not. I'm just saying.
So yeah, it's the markets that we serve, have pretty much seen a jump in almost every city except Chandler. Chandler went down a few listings, but the biggest significant jump was in Phoenix. So Phoenix alone had 70 new listings this week.
But Phoenix covers a pretty large landmass.
It does. And again, like we said, 187 for the whole Maricopa County is not, it's a little blip, but we are continuing to go up and up and up and up each week, but it's just very, very, very tiny steps.
I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but Maricopa County is one of the largest counties in the United States.
Yes, so, as far as land mass, not necessarily population.
Yeah,
so we have
land mass.
Plenty of room to grow, and we have no natural disasters here. So I think a lot of people want to move here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think across all of the other cities, no crazy changes. The median list price has remained pretty steady. Currently, it's at $485,000 across Maricopa County. Each city has remained pretty steady. There was like a little bit of jump in Chandler, 25 grand. But again, that's just a blip when we go from week to week.
Yeah, because sometimes it could just be a major, like a really expensive luxury house or something that's old.
Yeah, one nice, really nice house that comes on the market. So average days on market remains pretty consistent. It's 50 on average across the county. There are cities like Scottsdale and Tempe, for whatever reason, are closer to like 69, 70. And then there's places like Chandler and Mesa where 29, 34, I mean, like literally within a month or less than a month, these properties are going. So
Scottsdale makes sense to me. Tempe, I'm not sure, because you have a lot of very expensive homes in Scottsdale. So there could be a lot of jumbo loans that you have to wait through.
Yep.
And there's a lot of cash offers too. So
it's true.
Balances
all
out.
over the place.
Yeah.
And rental market has remained very consistent. So, and actually funny little story about Scottsdale and rentals. One of my close friends, Marie, that I was on the phone with earlier, her brother is looking for a rental right now in Scottsdale. And he said his wife was looking for like a week, and he was like, honey, like, come on, this isn't that difficult. Let me go look. And so he started looking, and he said, oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like the condo complexes, they want a deposit before you even can go look at them, because that's how fast they're going. Wow. So in these apartment complexes and stuff. So the rental market really is tough out here right now, guys. It is, a lot of demand. People that can't buy because of the prices going up are looking to rent. And then rental prices are going up. So yeah, there's just a really strong
And here I am
rental
gonna be
market.
removing my renters from our place in February.
Nice. Yeah.
So they might have a tough time. We'll give them plenty of warning.
Yes. So, and if you know of anyone who has some rentals in Scottsdale, reach out. Let me know.
Yeah,
'cause I have
definitely
people
put them
looking.
in the comments for us because that would be great.
Yes. And then again, we want to go over some stories that we found this week. So big news in real estate. Liz almost, you gave a little teaser before with our top.
Yeah, with the Phoenix resident, the 5 predictions.
Yes.
Well,
Top predictions.
yeah. I mean, they're pretty, we've known these. I mean, our real estate market isn't going anywhere. It's really the biggest predict. I mean,
no, it's
we're
true.
going to continue to go up and we're going to continue to have thousands of people move here every day. I mean, it's just a given with all the industries that we have, with the weather that we have, and realistically with some of the pricing that we have, it's just not going to go away. So I don't know if that's a prediction or that's just common sense, but still.
But, there was an article on AZ Big Media, so we wanted to share that. So the link will be in our blog later on the website, so you can check out the full article. But basically, the top 5 predictions for Phoenix residential real estate, right? Number 1, we mentioned already.
Which one? Well,
migration.
Migration. People are continuing to move here no matter what. There's too much industry even happening here, which we're going to talk about next. So get in here.
So migration is going to continue to increase, pretty much given. 2, home prices. I mean, home prices are going to continue to go up. We don't see any major crash or anything deterring the market because even COVID hasn't stopped us here. So we're good.
And I want to mention something really quick about that. You and I have been studying a new business model that we're going to get into a little bit with these, finding out really about mortgage loans. And once you read about them and find out all the things that changed after the debacle in 2008, 2009, you really realize how crooked
that industry was
and how much better it is. And that really led to a lot of stuff. Have you noticed that in some of that stuff? I'm just really like, and then I think back to some of the loans I got back then and think, what did?
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I knew people that were buying properties that were way inflated prices, that they were definitely not worth what they were paying for them. And they were like, oh, these ARM mortgages are great. I can pay extra every month and I'll pay it off sooner. And like, they were just selling them a whole load of.
Yeah. So anyway, we've learned a whole new thing and it's really interesting, but I think we're way better off and more secure. And unfortunately, bad things like that have to happen to have good things like this, that it gets stringent, but it's for a reason. It's really for our protection. So
it's true. And so going back, 3, it will continue to be a seller's market because of people migrating here, because the prices are going up. It's going to be a good seller's market. So if you do have properties in the area that you're looking to sell, number 1, let us know first. But the prices are going to continue to hold and you guys will be in a good place.
Which brings us to number 4.
4, flippers and investors are presenting a challenge to home buyers. Right? So people that want to come into the area and try and find more affordable housing, and maybe they want to do a little bit of sweat equity and find a fixer-upper and buy something on the lower price point, it's going to be harder for them to compete with the investors that are paying cash and coming in and fixing them up and selling them.
But we do such beautiful
driving the prices up higher, which of course we do increase property value, which is great for the whole neighborhood. But for those home buyers, especially first-time home buyers that maybe can't come in at that higher price point, it will continue to be challenging for them. And then last but not least, number 5, the prediction is that construction shortages will continue to slow new home builds. And it will continue to slow us investors as well. Lead time on
windows. I'm going to be ordering windows and I have at least a 10-week wait.
On Windows.
On my Windows.
Right, which we used to be able to get in like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting times to be working in the real estate industry, to tell you the truth.
Well, and I think it's just, there's always this cycle, and I like the cycle that we're learning because then the next cycle that comes and this cycles back around again, we're going to know we're preparing. And also, I think the big thing with this is when you jump into something like this, no matter when you jump into any industry or your investment industry, you learn that way. You learn that.
Yep.
And so it's just, it's not any better going back and thinking, oh, I wish the good old days were here, because just learn what you're learning right now. Continue going.
It's true. So
What else
the
did you
next
have on
thing,
there?
I have another article, again, AZ Big Media, but it is that Phoenix ranks number 3 in the United States for data center rankings. That is always hard for me to say. I'm like, data center rankings. So anyway, the local market for building data centers is very, very competitive here. Industrial land prices have increased as much as 20 to 40% in the last 6 to 12 months. So, I mean, it's pretty much on target with the residential side, though, right? Residential real estate, we said, was what last time when we looked at it was up 27% from last year. So, in that same market. And so in East Mesa and out in Goodyear, there have been 2 big data centers that have broken ground.
And do you remember last week we talked about Goodyear and all the growth going on out there and all the neighborhoods being built? And then it's not, some of it's in Goodyear, but that whole 303 where all those big box companies are out there. So.
Yes. So East Valley is huge. And then, West Valley for Goodyear. And then East Mesa, not only has NTT started on a data center, but Facebook is going to be building an $800 million data center out in Mesa as well.
That's crazy. So, and then I told you that up towards where I live, there's a semiconductor plant, a Taiwanese semiconductor plant being built up there. And it's one of the largest and most expensive builds going on in the United States here in general at all right now. The top 5, it's going to be a $32 billion semiconductor plant that's being built there. And then you talked about one being built, I think, in the East Valley too, that's coming. So
yeah, so it's crazy that, everyone always thinks of Silicon Valley in California, but honestly, between Intel and all of the stuff that we have being built out here, really we have our own little, it's not even little anymore, but our own version. So great things going on both in the residential side as well as in the commercial side and industrial side with these data centers that, it's bringing jobs, especially like you said, on the west side, all of those, Amazon and Dick's and
there's a huge UPS, there's lots of, I could see, and we also have we have 2 Amazon distribution centers, or they call them it's like a distribution center. But we have 2 here too, so they can see more coming.
Yes.
So before you get to one, I just want to mention one other thing that Marie and I are going to keep an eye on, is that we have a professional hockey team here, the Phoenix Coyotes, and they are going to be getting out of their lease in the city of Glendale. And so Tempe might be taking that over and building, and that's kind of a huge deal. I used to work for the city of Tempe and building all that area up along the river there where they dammed it up and put everything in Tempe Town Lake. So that would be huge to have it over there. And so that we're going to keep an eye on that, and we'll have a report on that in a couple weeks. So that could be really cool.
Yeah. So there's lots of stuff going on.
And then what's your feel-good story today?
Right? Our local news fun fact. So this one I found, honestly, I'm like such a heartfelt person. Like I read some things or like watch things, I'm like teary-eyed always. But this one was so beautiful to me. So literally, I hate that I just said that word. Anyway, I just heard someone talking about, those people that use those phrases like literally or this all the time.
Yeah.
And anyway, so now I just caught myself saying it. Anyway, Scottsdale district, a bus driver started hyperventilating during her morning route to school. It was a middle school. And the students jumped to her aid. So our local news feel-good story is about a couple of middle school students who literally took the initiative to make sure she was okay, call 911. One of them was smart enough to go on his phone, look at his map, dropped a pin, got an address. They were able to tell dispatch the exact location of the bus. as well as another student jumped on the bus radio and notified the Scottsdale Unified School District to say what's going on and tell them the location. And so you had a bunch of students just kind of jump in. They said other students just got off the bus just to kind of clear the air and give her some space and be outside when, paramedics and local help arrived. So I just think that's so feel good, right? It's so awesome. It like made me get teary eyed just like listening to this story. So I'm sure this bus driver and her family are super, super happy that, these middle schoolers are really heroes.
I know. I have to say, I could see your children doing that. So your kids, if it ever arose, I could see your two children being like, we gotta help.
All right, let's figure this out. So yeah, I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful story. So that just happened a couple days ago here in Scottsdale. So we're praying for her family and hope all is well. Last we heard, the article said that, she was in doctor's care and all good. So yes, it's so important, teach your kids young, like 911 and what to do in case of emergency. We go over fire drills at home. That's like our thing.
Oh, that's good. It's
I
really
guess,
good. Because you never know.
My husband being a retired fireman, that's, the thing. What do you do in case of a fire?
Yep.
So that's all we got for you this week. Yeah. So check us out at lizandmarie.com. If you have a property that you want to sell, go to lizandmarie.com/save now, and we can make you some offers.
Mm-hmm. And we're still working on our new project. It's taking some blood, sweat, and tears, but it's good because we just want to make sure it's as good as we anticipating it being, and we're super excited about. So that we're going to be coming out with that here in the next few weeks. So
yes,
very exciting.
That is a program more specific towards landlords or people that have owned their properties for a long time and want some relief on capital gains and taxes that will come with selling those properties. So if you want some information on that, definitely reach out to us as well. So look forward to see you guys next week.
Yeah, so we'll be back next Tuesday with another update. And we're going to enjoy this beautiful weather with a little bit of rain, and now it's cleared up. It's going to be fresh and crisp outside.
All right, so
peace
and love.
Peace and love. And we'll be back next week. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.